I am Andrea. I live in Wisconsin. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. My son is 13. During the day, I am a full time real estate agent and I also work at a gym as a sales leader there. Um, what else about me? Mm, I'm a living kidney donor. As of December 4th of last year, I became a living kidney donor. I sit on the board of the National Kidney Foundation here in Wisconsin, and I am the national spokesperson for Kidneys for Kids. I'm also a published author. So how I got started. Unfortunately, in 2015, I was in a near fatal car accident, not my fault, but it was pretty bad. And to be honest, I shouldn't be here today. So God had another plan for me that, was going to give me that second chance to go help somebody else. At that time, it was a very pivotal moment in my life because my son was 3. I was going through a divorce. I sold my home. I moved in with my parents all at the same time. And, so I took it as, okay, I'm here. Like, what is God trying to tell me? Well, God was probably trying to tell me to slow down and to reevaluate life. And that's what I did. So I took a while to recover living with my parents and basically had to start life over again. And, I really think that people cross our path for a reason. I met a really wonderful man who changed my life. And after going through my divorce, we decided that we were going to create a life together. And he introduced me to some really amazing people. And what I didn't know is while I was recovering from my car accident, his best friend was undergoing a double lung transplant. So that is actually my first um, taste of what the organ donation world was like. And, way to be put in there right away with, a friend who's got double lungs. Like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So, that was just something to me that I was like, wow, I'm getting a chance to meet these people. He's having, he's going through all of this. I just recovered from, this car accident. Like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. So the reason he had his double lung transplant was because he was born with cystic fibrosis. And for me, I found that very intriguing and I wanted to know more. So for a few years after that, I got involved with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and kind of led the charge of young professionals just talking about CF and talking about what organ donation looked like. It never really left me. And, life goes by and I, had this wonderful real estate career and I still have this wonderful real estate career, but I still felt like I was missing something. And I had a friend almost 3 years ago, my former business partner told me that he needed a kidney. And I kind of knew something was wrong because he was not looking so well and he was kind of keeping to himself. And I knew that when he was a young teenager that he had received his first kidney. And now he was well into his 30s and that kidney decided it wasn't going to function anymore. And for me, that was like, whoa, okay, what can I do to help you? And to be honest, like, I was like, oh gosh, like, I never even thought about giving him my kidney. I didn't. It was just like, okay, what can I do to help you? And he was like, well, you can go get tested. And I was like, no problem. I'll go get tested. And unfortunately, that didn't work. It just was, there was a lot of different things that were going on with that. But it would weigh heavy on me for a really long time. Weighed so heavy because all I wanted to do was to help him. And I wanted to be the one to save my friend. And so social media is an amazing, amazing thing. And so I took to my social media and I said, my friend needs a kidney. We are going to advocate for him. We made t-shirts, we wore them out to baseball games. We had things on social media and he got some hits pretty good. He got some good ones. But as we know in the donation world, things don't always work out how we had intended them to. He had a little glimmer of hope and then it was taken away. But we'll get back to that. And so I was thinking he was being taken care of. He had this match and everything was going to be great. Well, then social media introduced me to a family. I had a young mom reach out to me and she said, hey, I see you're very active in the kidney world. And I was wondering if we could talk. And I'm like, absolutely. I like making new friends. And so we met and we talked. And she had told me that her young child, he was 4 at the time, was born with a very rare genetic kidney disease and Denny's-Drash, which is a very, very, very rare disease. So at 7 months old, he had both of his kidneys removed, which meant that every day he was living on dialysis, every single day. And this kid was 4 now. And he was failing pretty bad. And his only hope was to get a match. And I was like, all right, buckle up, let's do this. And I was like, can I tell your story? And she's like, yeah, like, I don't really have anyone that understands, my struggles. And, it's a lot. It's a lot when, people say like, oh, they want to help you or you can lean on them. But like when you're like kind of in the thick of it, you really find out who is on your side. And I just said, let me tell your story. So I took to social media again and put up this beautiful picture of this kid and told their story. And we were able to fundraise and people came out in droves to test for him. And he got his match. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. Like he's going to get his match. And so fortunately, he did receive his wonderful gift April 16th of last year. And I still wanted more. So April 18th, I went in for my evaluation. And I just thought, you know what? If I wasn't a match for my friend, I gotta be a match for someone else. And I said, you know what? We're gonna just try this. And to be honest, I went in head first. I didn't really even think about it. I just basically told my husband that I was gonna go in and get tested. And like we know, each evaluation and each experience with people who are going through the kidney process is different. So I had heard people have like breezed through it and they were like, yep, I went through it and I was able to donate right away. And I was not one of them. I went back several times. And honestly, I could have given up, but I just knew like I came so far and I was not going to stop until I got that hard no. A maybe was not good enough for me. And I will never forget driving home from an amusement park with my son. And I got a phone call and it was my hospital. And they said, hey, guess what? You are eligible to be a kidney donor. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Like, okay, now I got to go home and tell my husband that now I'm eligible to be a kidney donor. And, we hadn't really planned for that. So that was just something that we were going to throw into our life. And I had a million other things going on. I was selling houses, I was doing pageantry. There was just a lot on my calendar. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to fit this in? Well, the beautiful thing is that with, being the donor, I had a lot more control over it, saying like, this is where it fits into my calendar. This is when I can have the time off and let's go for it. So I was competing for the title of United States of America's Mrs. Wisconsin. And I had not told many people at all that I was eligible to be a kidney donor or the fact that I was even thinking about being a kidney donor. And I dropped the bomb during my final question on stage that I was going to be donating my kidney. And my profile went live. It went live on Halloween and I matched within 24 hours. And December 4th, 2024 was the day that we did it. And if I could do it all over again, I would. In a heartbeat. And it was, people always say like, oh my gosh, like you did such an amazing thing. To me, it's amazing, but like I did it because I could. And I wish more people would do that, and I just advocate now for people who are in need of whatever organ it is. But, I know a lot about kidneys and, so, now becoming, the national spokesperson for Kidneys for Kids, advocating for adults to be living kidney donors for the children. I sit with children in dialysis because, there's nothing more heartbreaking than a little kid hooked up to a machine. I create cheer kits for these kids. Being in pageantry, I have a lot of pageant sisters who are willing to give their time and their money to make things happen. And so we've been able to create these cheer kits that I drop off probably like bi-monthly. And so here I am, and I'm competing actually again for United States of America's Mrs. Wisconsin because I took first runner up. And I'm competing again in November in hopes of being Mrs. Wisconsin. I'm really excited because, I've only had one person here in Wisconsin talk to me about the foundation. And like, I'm like, come on, like, let's make this bigger here. Come on. I'm really excited to be a part of this. I've been wanting to. Once he sent it to me, I was like, oh my gosh, like how can I get involved? Please tell me. I thrive off of this. Like this is just what I do, you know, especially being in pageantry. It's way beyond the glitz and the glamour. Like I love being dressed up. I love doing all of that, but more importantly, I love being an advocate for what I stand for. And I love knowing about other people's, you know. So for me, like I don't talk about service, like I actually live it. Like I don't just volunteer for things. Like this is literally my everyday. There's somehow every day I'm doing something for organ donation, something, whatever it is, you know? And then, you know, sitting on the board of the National Kidney Foundation, like I'm always doing something, but I just want more people. I want more people like, you know, that are just willing to even just give it a thought. You know, and accept conversation. I don't you know, that's my thing is like I always try to tell people, I am not in the business of trying to convince you to do anything. I just want to talk to you. I just want to answer your questions because chances are you probably know someone who probably needs something. And, you know, the more I can educate you and, you know, make you less scared, because there's a lot of that apprehension and things like that. And, you know, that's just my ultimate goal is just, you know, to have people just understand and know. I have really been trying to, you know, my heart and soul is with children. Like it's just anything, like anything with children. And so I've really been trying to educate them earlier in life and not make them scared. And, you know, one of my very dear friends is Brenda Cortez, who writes all of the Howl of the Owl books. And so like I donate those to any kind of school, any kind of little library that I can because they're for children, you know, and honestly, it's actually what helped me get through you know, donating my kidney, even though my son was 12 when that happened, he was scared. He didn't understand that mama's not gonna die. Like, she doesn't have to die in order to give her kidney. You know, so reading those books and just kind of getting him acclimated to that was like, it really, really helped. And I really think that conversations need to happen within families, you know, because you never know what if something happens to grandma, you know, and grandma is, you know, near and dear to these children. Like they need to understand, you know, that there are these avenues and there's these things, and you can live a perfectly normal life if you donate part of your liver or your kidney or you know whatnot. But it's just I just want more people to have conversation.